Don't mind me. I am just making a list of how many times I've said on this channel that with video games, I always look for something more than just fun. Oh yeah, this seems about right. You can't really blame me, I just can never get enough when a video game makes me feel, you know? So what exactly am I trying to achieve with this video? It's a bit difficult to explain. I want to take 7 moments from different video games that hit me on a whole different level. When they happened, I didn't know what I felt, so I had to sit down and reflect on them. It sounds a bit contradicting, but it was unreal how genuine those moments felt. I know it doesn't make much sense, so I think it's better to just show you. And don't worry, I'll put spoiler tags for the games I'll talk about. So, shall we begin? Okami. If I could describe you with just one word, it would be beautiful. From the aesthetics, the music, the folklore, this whole game is a piece of art from any angle you look at it. I own it 3 times because I really love it that much. And the moment from Okami that blew me away is right at the end. The protagonist Amaterasu is forced to venture alone to a place known as the Ark of Yamato, leaving her partner Izum behind. Amaterasu confronts her arch-nemesis, Yami, in a long and fierce battle, but the latter takes the upper hand when he strips away all of her powers and nearly kills all of the celestial gods. It's at this moment where things look hopeless, and then the flutes start to play. This whole scene didn't hit me. It's landing with a truck in a way I never could have imagined. I've cried in the past with video games, during very sad scenes. What made this moment feel so unreal is that I cried, but because I felt really happy. There's a lot of things to consider on how that happened. You spent the whole game meeting a lot of people who don't believe in the goddess anymore, which is you. Your partner Izum starts off as a jerk who wants to use you for his own benefit, but his real identity is that of a celestial envoy who rejected his job. He's a messenger from the gods who is in charge of keeping faith in the goddess alive. This scene succeeds because it shows the culmination of what you experienced in your adventure. The people you met realize the goddess never abandoned them and start to believe in you again. This happened because Izum decided to accept who he was and encourages everyone to believe in Amaterasu once again. And that music seals the whole deal. No matter how many times I play Okami, this scene never fails to hit me, because just like the whole game, it's simply beautiful, a kind of beauty that brought an unexpected emotion. Dragon Quest XI caught me so off guard. When I got it, I expected your everyday JRPG, and that's what I got, and yet, it's one of the best I've ever played. It was one of those games that just never stopped. It was growing in scope. The combat just continued to go deeper, and the story was spinning in a never-ending cycle of surprises. So which moment from this game takes the spot? The end of Act 1? The emotional scene with Serena in Arborea? Or maybe it's the scene where you forge the Sword of Light? I wish I could put them, but no. The moment I want to talk about actually has no dialogue. And that is the moment where you leave Heliodor for the first time during Act 3. It's really short. It has no words. And all this scene consists of is the hero riding away on his horse. How could a scene like this feel unreal? Because of what it signifies. As I said, Dragon Quest XI is a game that never stops growing, and the transition from Act 2 to 3 is something you can't take lightly. You defeated evil, you saved the world, but what if you had the chance to do it again? Are you willing to sacrifice everything for another chance to do things better? If your answer was yes, then the whole game changes. This scene is like a new beginning. The whole world is open to you now, and there are no limits on where you can go. A bigger adventure lies ahead of you. Once again, the music is what gives the final touch. If you know the origin of the song, then the scene acquires meaning. I have to clarify, 11 was my first Dragon Quest game, but of course I knew the song was from 3. If a newbie like me could feel that way about such a small scene, just imagine what this moment meant for longtime Dragon Quest fans. I'm sure this song will evoke a unique feeling inside you, so close your eyes and listen. If you felt something, then I'm sure you know what I mean. There's just something that hits different about the credits theme from Super Mario 64. I can't exactly put my finger on what it is. When you beat a game, you know there's something. Maybe you feel empty because you love it a lot. Or maybe you're happy because the ending was good. I believe there's also a common thought, because for most of us, Super Mario 64 was one of our first games. We grew up with it. Maybe we put some childhood bias in it, but still, it's a moment we remember fondly. I think the credits feel unreal because they bring out those two emotions I mentioned. You're a little kid. You have so much fun with this game. You don't want it to end at all. But when you hear this song, you know the journey is truly over, and that makes you feel empty. Yet at the same time, you feel happy. Because that's it! You did it! It wasn't easy, but you managed to beat Super Mario 64! This game has such a jolly tone, and the fact that it made us experience such bittersweet emotions for the first time, I think that's worth some merit. Final Fantasy XV was a game with a ridiculously long development that ultimately ended up feeling incomplete, and that disappointed a lot of people. But I honestly really love it. I can understand the criticism though. The combat, the story, it's all valid. But for me, this whole game is so worth it because of the relationship between the 4 party members: Noctis, Ignis, Gladio, and Prompto. These 4 guys share one of the strongest and genuine bonds I've seen in a video game. Every moment I experienced here was enhanced thanks to them. Their interactions felt so real and relatable.
Remember, those ain't your bodyguards. They're your brothers.
But what if we push that relationship to the extreme? There's a point in the game where, simply put, everything starts to plummet. A whole city is attacked, your fiancé dies, and your partner Ignis goes blind. These events force the party against a wall where it makes you believe there's no way for anything to be fixed now. God, forget saving the world. At this point, all I care about is for these 4 to be friends again. And it's insane how well the game makes you believe their bonds are irreparable now. Gladio is mad, Prompto doesn't know what to do, and Ignis doesn't want to be a burden. And you get to experience that during the whole chapter. One thing is to see that during cutscenes, another is when you feel it during gameplay.
Is it too much to ask the royal procession sticks together?
Too much to ask you to shut it?
Try thinking of others.
You can tell how broken everything is now, and there's no other way to put it. This entire part made me feel like shit. It was so unreal because it made me realize how much I really cared for these characters, and seeing them all in such a state was heartbreaking. But was it memorable? Absolutely. Another chance to talk about Fire Emblem Three Houses? Don't mind if I do. Three Houses is a game which highlights a lot the grey morality of human beings, and its characters exemplify that very well. There are many great examples, but the one character that starts this moment is Edelgard von Hresvelg. Oh, what a surprise. And before any of you start going... We are not here to discuss the character. I just want to explain the moment that she had. Just put yourself in my shoes for a moment. I start the game, and I choose the Black Eagles as my first house. Through story progression and supports, I came to be fascinated by the motives and resolve of Edelgard. During the story, you learn who the villains are, and dispose of some of them with just a few exceptions. One of them being the mysterious Flame Emperor. On the last moments of the first part of the game, so many things happen at once, so many questions surface, and just when you think you'll get the answers you want...
Stop right there. I am the Flame Emperor.
I guess that's the end of play at school, Lady Edelgard.
This moment was unreal. Edelgard, the character I came to admire and support, is revealed to be a major villain. When this happened, I didn't know what to do. While I was playing the Holy Tomb chapter, my mind was flooded with so many questions. Is she responsible for Flame's disappearance? The murders at Rimar village? Holy shit, did she give the order to kill my dad? When I had to make the fateful decision of who to ally with, I just couldn't think. I had to take a break and discuss it with a friend so I could calm down. And no, I'm actually not joking. Here are actual pictures of a conversation we had when it happened. It hit me that hard, but it was so memorable. What I felt back then was insane. So what did I choose? Is that even a question at this point? You're in high school, it's midnight, and you're home alone playing Metal Gear Solid 2. You have a fun time, the game is just as good as the first. But all of a sudden, you get captured by the villains and are stripped away of all your equipment. Yeah, this isn't that surprising, it's just like the first game. But nothing can prepare you for what follows this.
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
What did you say?
The mission is a failure. Cut the power right now.
What's wrong with you?
The final moments. The Arsenal Gear section in MGS2 specifically is such an unreal place. Like, yeah, the series was never afraid of doing something unique. But this took the cake, lit it on fire, and threw it out of the window. I can't find the right words to describe this whole part. This moment temporarily turned MGS2 into a horror game. But it's not the same emotion you get when you're being chased by a monster. No, this whole area, with its atmosphere, music, and dialogue, it's fucked up! It's a special moment that makes you feel uncomfortable, and it eventually leads to fear. It's like, you're no longer fighting terrorists and trying to escape from them. You just don't know what's going on and what will follow next. You don't know what to believe. This part hits so different that eventually it makes you question if the game is talking to Raiden or you, the player.
You seem to get a real thrill out of slaughtering the enemy. Are you frustrated about something?
You may have heard people say many times before that Metal Gear Solid 2 was way ahead of its time. But that's not an argument without solid ground. One thing is being told that, another is to live it yourself. This video wasn't intended to be a top, but I decided to save the best for last. And the game that will finish this video is... Oh yeah, not that long has passed and I'm already back at Xenoblade Chronicles. But... what can I say? In that review, I mentioned how much that game means to me, because it was constantly making me stop and reflect. You could say it's responsible for why I came up with this video. So, what's the unreal moment here? You don't have to look that far. Let's just go to the first hours of the game. More specifically, the Mechon invasion in Colony 9. This whole section is what turned my whole perspective around. Let's just analyze the whole thing. The Mechon are invading your hometown, so Shulk, Ryan and Fiora gather up to fight them. After a long struggle, things look bleak. But everything turns around once Dunban appears using the Monado, the same weapon that can take down Mekon with ease. And things continue to escalate even further, when Shulk takes the Monado but also acquires the ability to
See into the future!
It's at this moment where the player starts to think, oh hell yeah! I have the most powerful weapon in the world and I can see into the future! This will be easy! And then, the hammer drops hard. That's when Metalface, a major villain, shows up forcing you into a battle, only for you to realize the Monado is not working on him. In a last desperate attempt to save everyone, Fiora uses a mobile artillery to attack Metalface, and then...
I'll kill you!
Oh! I'll tell you! This is one of the most perfectly executed scenes I've seen in a game. Not only for what transpires, but how it manages to do so. I believe the feeling that stands out the most is that of hopelessness. You believe for a moment that there's nothing that can stop you, but suddenly the rug is pulled out from under your feet. You have an enemy that you can't defeat, and then you get a vision of Fiora's demise. It makes you believe for a moment that she will be saved, and no matter how hard the protagonists try, there's nothing they can do to stop that from happening. You can feel how desperate they are in those moments. As a result, it highlights how imposing Metalface is as a villain. And the voice acting here is so flawless that every line of dialogue feels so genuine and ends up sending shivers down your spine. It emits feel during cutscenes, and also reflects it during gameplay. People understandably tend to dislike battles you're meant to lose, but the encounter with Metalface proves they can be done right. Now combine all of that with a song that shakes you to the core, and there you have it. A masterpiece. This scene is so special to me for two reasons. It told me that Xenoblade Chronicles wasn't here to fuck around, and the game continued to prove itself by living up to what this scene did. But it also made me see video games in a different way. When all of this happened, I had to sit down and reflect. If I am the way I am with video games, it's because of this. No matter how much time passes, I remember this moment fondly. No matter how many times I see it, it still hits me the same way it did all those years ago. It was simply unreal. So, does it make much more sense now, the message that I was trying to convey? If so, then I am curious. Have you ever felt this way about a video game? I'll be really glad to hear you out. You know, people tend to say video games are a waste of time, but if they manage to bring out such genuine emotions from a person, does it really matter what they say? I believe they can be much more than that, and moments like this are evidence of it. So thank you for your time, and thank you for watching.